Fala galera do Super Lutas, tudo bem? Meu nome é Ivan Ribeiro e hoje eu estou ao lado de Chael Sonnen, que faz a luta contra o Anderson Silva amanhã, no próximo sábado. Chael, first of all, glad to have you here in Super Lutas. How are you, my friend?
Well, it's nice to see you, buddy. It's very nice to see you. It's nice. It's nice to talk to a young guy like myself. We were probably classmates somewhere along the way. You're asking me about Anderson Silva. This will be the first time I've ever beaten a guy 3 times, aside from Jeremy Horn. I beat up a guy named Jeremy Horn 3 times. Beat up a guy named Paulo Filo, I think, 3 times actually. And now Anderson will be on that list as well.
My first question is about Anderson as well. You almost beat Anderson in your first fight, and you prepared a lot for the rematch, but you lost again. Which defeat was more painful for you, the first or the second fight?
Oh, wow. The second fight. They were in their own way, man. They were painful in their own way. To be so close was that was very unique. To be that close and let something slip away is unique. But in the second one, I also knew that was my last chance. I knew that I wouldn't get back to that spot. And it was such a long, hard road to get there. If I would have competed a little bit better, I can live with the outcome. It was the performance in the second one. I had made some bad choices. I thought the first time I fought him, I could beat him. I thought the second time I should have beat him. I think it should be 2-0 the other way. I acknowledge, I tip my hat to him. It was a fair fight. I acknowledge, but I'm just sharing with you. I've never accepted that he was better. I've never accepted that he could touch me more times than I could touch him. I've always thought I understood the sport better than him. That was my own opinion. But he won fair and square. And this is just a unique opportunity to try to correct that. But, you know, in many ways, it's not like I had to get better over the years. I was better then. I've gone 7 rounds with him. I won 6 of them. Of all 6 rounds I've ever completed with him that went to the judges, they all went to me, and 3 of them were 10-8 rounds. Like, our fights not only weren't close, they weren't remotely close. They were absolute blowouts. So closing out the night, knowing how to win a fight is something he did a better job of than me. But as far as who's a better fighter, I don't think that's been proven.
Yeah, I remember you almost took the fight against Anderson Silva by putting him on the ground, but you also landed a strong staging punch in the first fight. Even so, he's recognized for his quality in striking. You're out of your comfort zone. But how do you think you can surprise? Do you believe you can knock out
Can
Anderson Silva tomorrow?
I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you shave right here? Is this part shaven, or is that just like your DNA? It doesn't grow hair. I notice you're not connected there. Is that on purpose?
Yeah, me too, me too. It's the same.
All right, but you don't shave it. It's just that's just natural.
Yeah, it's natural. It's
That's
totally
very
good.
cool. That's very cool, but it's very unique. It's almost like a calling card. Like I would suggest that you don't go rob any banks, for example, and then think you can like grow a beard and it's a disguise. I mean, I think that it's a pretty unique trait. So moving on, you were asking about Anderson Silva. Oh, you're asking me because I'm fighting Anderson Silva Saturday, June 15th, 12:30 in the morning on Globo. Is that the match you're talking about?
Yeah.
You're talking about our boxing match that's going to be on Globo on Saturday night at 12:30 in the morning, right?
Right.
Oh, that one. Yes. What about it?
Do you believe you can knock out Anderson Silva tomorrow?
No, knock him out? No, I don't think so. I mean, I find him to be a very hard guy to knock out. And, you know, I tried and I used a lot of energy. And I don't want to bring that into the world. Like, I mean, I'm not afraid to knock him out. If I see an opportunity, I'm going to do my best to take it. But I'm not counting on a knockout. And I'm being very disciplined when I tell you that for one reason, which is you have to learn from the past, but there was no point in doing it, right? Like, something has to be different about this fight if we're going to expect a different outcome. So one thing that I did in the first fight and in the second fight is I put a lot of energy into getting him out of there. I put a lot of energy into making him quit, hurting him so bad that the referee stopped the fight, whatever it might have been. And I think it was a mistake. I'm not going to go for that. You know, there's a truth in boxing. If you look for the knockout, you will lose the decision. And I think we're far more likely to go several rounds And, I had told you before, and I wasn't trying to be a jerk about it, but I have never gone a round with Anderson that every judge watched it didn't give me. I mean, I've done 6 completed rounds with 6 different judges, and none of them ever thought he won a single round. So my point is, my strategy of trying to get him out of there, I think, is a flawed strategy. I'm not looking for the knockout. I'm looking to turn rounds in, go to those judges, which have always seen it for me in the past. I don't see why anything would be any different.
Amazing. And your history with Brazil will always remain with us. Now I ask you to do the opposite. Who are the 5 best Brazilians in the history of MMA?
Well, the 5 best would be, I really think that Vitor Belfort belongs on that list. And I say that because, not only because he became a champion, he was my mother's favorite fighter, but he just has had a longevity. I think there's a real skill in being able to extend your career. And Vitor also did it at 3 different weight classes. He never gets credit for that. People forget he fought at heavyweight, light heavyweight, and at middleweight. He was the champion at heavyweight. He was the champion at light heavyweight, I think. I'd have to check that stat, but I thought when he beat Randy, it was at light heavyweight. And he fought for the title at 85 a couple of times. So I'm going to put Vitor on there. The best ever would be Anderson. I think what Jose Aldo's done has been remarkable. I think Wanderlei Silva had a remarkable career. And a guy that influenced me heavily was Marco Ruas. Just seeing Marco fight and understanding the stand-up and the ground fighting. And, he went and became a coach and helped guys to pass him by. But I think that Pedro Rizzo was probably greatly influenced by Marco Ruas. And I think for his time, Marco was ahead of the time.
Yeah, amazing. Marco Rose was a legend for us too. What is your future in boxing? You've talked about the possibility of facing Jorge Masvidal as well. You've faced some of the best names in MMA history, such as Anderson Silva, Fedor Emelianenko, John Jones, Mauricio Rua. But would you like to face another fighter you haven't yet?
Well, I have an agreement in place already to fight George Masvidal. Now, I'll tell you in all fairness, I don't think they're going to honor it. I had an agreement with these guys a long time ago, and they were supposed to sign a contract, and they have not upheld their end of the bargain. So, and I'm fine with that. By the way, I'm completely fine with George Masvidal backing down publicly. I've had plenty of guys back down for me. We're good. That will do it. But it was George's idea. Publicly, he said he wants to fight. Publicly, I've accepted the fight. Privately, I've made an agreement with a company that he claims that he owns, and they never sent the paperwork. So if he's changed his mind and he wants to wave a white flag, we're all good. But if he hasn't, I'm going to stomp him out. He never should have said my name.
Oh my God, it's a surprise for me, right? Yesterday you lived your best life at the match between Palmeiras and Vasco here in Brazil. How was the experience? How did you feel about Brazilian soccer fans?
Were you there? Did you get to go to that game?
Yeah.
Oh, but you were?
Other club.
Oh, I wish I would have seen you there. I have never had an experience like that. I have never been in a building with that kind of energy before. And the closest I've ever been in, my number one until last night, I was in a building, a small 4,000 people, but the president of the United States walked in the room. And this is way back in the 90s. But that building was so loud for him. Palmeiras, oh my God, they put that to shame. I have never seen that many people in one location. They never sat down. They all bought a seat. None of them ever used it. They were on their feet and they were chanting and they were waving flags. This was at 11 p.m. on a Thursday night. That was awesome. We have nothing like that. Nothing like that in America. I could not believe how cool that was.